Hello and welcome back. I'd like to go over a little bit about HTML. Now, I'm sure that we all know HTML is the markup language of the web. We know that HTML is used to define web page elements. Just as we know that cascading style sheets or CSS is used to define the display style of those elements, right? Maybe not? What about the role of JavaScript in the dynamic HTML revolution? Maybe not. Getting a little fuzzier. How about web graphics changes coming in HTML5? Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe we should begin at the beginning and kind of build up this knowledge and understanding. I'm going to do that throughout this course with little vignettes that will interrupt to introduce fundamental concepts. Let's go ahead and begin by looking at what I call the HTML Trinity. That's basically HTML, which is the markup language that is used to delineate web page elements. It defines the start and the end of a segment of a web page. Cascading style sheet is the language that is used to define how those HTML elements are to be presented to the user by the browser. In other words, what they're supposed to look like. Are they supposed to be blue? Are they supposed to be brown? Is there supposed to be space up above or to the right or to the left? Is this supposed to be in the upper left-hand corner? All of these things are defined by cascading style sheets. They have to do with the presentation of the elements defined by HTML. And finally, JavaScript comes along to add what we call dynamic HTML or DHTML, which is pages that respond to user activity. As you roll over areas on the page, things glow, things pop, they change color. All of this stuff is done through JavaScript and much more. JavaScript is becoming the language, as we have languages such as Swift in the app development environment on iPhones is very heavily influenced by JavaScript. JavaScript is moving everywhere. Now, or at least you know about the what I call the Trinity when it comes to HTML. But another way to introduce HTML to you without being boring with it, I thought, why don't I introduce to you what is well-formed HTML? Now, whether it's you would call it XHTML or HTML according to the XML rules, I don't know what you'd call it, but these are my rules of well-formed HTML. First, all tags are enclosed in angle brackets. So the common tags like HTML begin with a left or a less than sign and end with a greater than sign, and body and paragraph and so on. Sure, there can be spaces between the less than and the greater than. You can actually have a tag definition span multiple lines, so you can have new lines in them. All of these things are allowed as long as you begin with a less than sign and end with a later than. And somewhere after the less than or the less than sign, the first thing that's going to show up is the tag name, like HTML body or P for a paragraph. All tags or elements end with end tags that have backslashes before the tag name. So an HTML element that brackets an entire page begins with HTML and ends with backslash HTML. The body tag begins with body, ends with slash body, P, backslash P, and so on. This is well-formed HTML. In the olden days, you didn't have to have the end of a paragraph, but nowadays we're actually trying to ratchet down the well-defined machine-readable ability of the markup or the data that we're trying to mark up. Now, all HTML elements begin with a start tag and end with an end tag. This is pretty much a rule. No more leaving out the end tag and leaving it up to the browser to decide what to do. You have to specify both for it to be well-formed HTML. The exception are empty tags, which include a backslash before the right angle bracket at the end of the tag, and they exclude the end tag. So for instance, an image has no contents between the start tag and the end tag, or an IMG tag. Everything is specified within the image tag itself. So you do backslash and greater than at the end of the tag. The same with a break or a space. Anything that doesn't have data between a start and an end tag is considered an empty tag, and you put a backslash before the end greater than sign and exclude the end tag. So to continue our well-formedness, we must be sure that tags overlap correctly. You can't start and end a tag. For instance, you can't start one tag, start another tag, then end the first tag and end the other one. They have to not overlap. A tag cannot overlap the end tag of another. So they have to be properly nested, one within the other. Now, let's look at well-formed attributes. The other thing that you can do is you can pass data to tags by following the tag name and proceeding. Yeah, well, attributes do. They follow the tag name and precede the ending tag bracket. And attribute values provide data to the tag. Now here's how you do an attribute. You say the name, you say equal, and then you quote it, in my case, always in double quotes, what the attribute is. Here's an example of an image tag. IMG is the tag, the attribute is src, which is the source of the image, and the value, or the attribute value, is images/map.jpg. So this is a well-formed tag because it has well-formed attributes, and the tag itself, notice how it has the backslash before the ending angle bracket at the very end, or yes, the angle bracket. The reason for that is that this is a empty tag. It doesn't have any data. All the data is specified via attributes that it needs. Okay, let's move on to entity references. This is the final one and I won't abuse you anymore. There are two characters that you need to replace with special, what are known as entity references. They're the less than and the ampersand character. Now imagine a parser is going along reading your HTML and it comes across a less than character and it goes, is this the beginning of a tag or not? The problem is it doesn't know. The way to tell it is to replace that less than with an entity reference. The same with an ampersand. Now, the reason that you need to replace ampersands is that ampersands are used to begin entity references. So, the two entity references that you must make are amper, LT, semicolon. Replace all less thans that are not part of tags with this entity reference. Replace all ampersands with ampersand, amp, semicolon. If you do this, you'll have well-formed HTML. You'll have passed the entity reference test. And here I have an example of bad HTML where I've got actually the less than and the greater than of a paragraph tag that I'm referencing in the text of a paragraph. If I want to do something like that, I replace the less than with amper LT semicolon and the greater than with greater than or amper GT semicolon, as you can see in the good line. So we've just covered the rules of well-formed HTML. You might want to go back and review this one more time. You may have thought you knew HTML, but did you know well-formed HTML?